welcome to Nerdgoblinart. I'm Lula and it's Froggy Friday. So I've got my frog mould out, I've got my resin mixed, and I've got number 1 and 14 from the non-sink Intoresin glitter. I've got the eyes, and this is Christmas, I call it pot puree. I think I say it wrong, but that's from Hobbycraft here in the UK. I'm using Teexpert epoxy resin. It's a 1-to-1, and I will be putting this resin into the debubbler. So number 14 is like an orangey red, like a burnt red. And I'm just going to put you back because I obviously knocked the camera. So hindsight's a wonderful thing. I believe that I put too much in it. And I kind of thought it at this point that I had put in too much, but I continued to put in more. So I don't know why. And did you just see what happened? Did you just see my disco ball fly off? My stirring stick. Oh my goodness. It's like it's a sign that this is going to be a comedy of errors. I did forget that the orangey brown one tends to tint the resin as well. So while that's in the debubbler, I have got my Jdiction UV resin out, and I've got my UV lamp, and I actually remembered before I started, I hadn't marked the back of the eyes, so I knew the direction of the slits of the eyes. So just quickly popping that on with some pencil. You can do this before or after. Well, not really after, I suppose. I suppose some people do drill them out and then put in the eyes. I don't know, that sounds like a lot of effort. So you can put these in, or you can choose to use sticker ones. I've seen those, and then resin, UV resin over the top afterwards. Or I often use acrylic paints or acrylic pens to colour eyes on them. But not always. It's just a few moments, making sure that it is cured both sides. And I'm also fidgeting with as I poured the puree out into puree. That's not puree. Oh my goodness! As I poured the pot puree, and I'm saying it wrong, I know, but I've always called it pot puree. Anyway, I poured it into the bowl, and I was noticing like pieces of like fluff from the bag that it came in, so I kept pulling it off. I was distracted, quite distracted. Okay, so the eyes are in, and next we move to the resin pad. Now I'm pre-spraying with my isopropyl alcohol. Can you see what I mean by the colour? I forgot that when I last used that glitter, the orangey burnt one, I used it in a pumpkin, and genuinely it looked as if I had coloured the resin, and I had not. It's just a very strong one, so I shouldn't have put as much glitter in as I did, but here we go. I did put this through the debubbler, but it's a new debubbler to me, and I didn't do it quite right, but I was aware of time, because you do have time limits with epoxy resin, and I didn't want the resin getting warm on me because of doing this, because I knew that this part was going to take me a little while. What I've done here is I've just decanted some of that resin into a smaller cup so I can pre-dip the bits and pieces from this puree. Now, this stuff is porous. You are going to get bubbles. You can do what I'm doing, which is pre-dipping, and then I'm giving them a spray of isopropyl alcohol, and then with these little ones, I'm just spraying them straight away with the with isopropyl alcohol, and I'm going to be doing this throughout. and I will be spraying the isopropyl alcohol and using my heat gun as well to try and dispense with any of those dastardly bubbles. So whilst I'm doing this, I shall play you some music.
Santa Froggy hopping near, ringing bells of holly cheer. Presents wrapped in polka dots, bringing joy in little hops. I've been waiting by the tree, stockings hung so merrily. Tall glass of milk sits by the fire, cookies baked to his desire. Santa Froggy, I've been good, kept my promises like I should. So hop down my chimney tonight, bring some magic, pure delight. Rain or snow, he always comes, playing sweetly on his drums. Tiny hat upon his head, green suit glowing warm and red. Every year I'll wait for you, keeping dreams so bright and new. Little Froggy spreading light, guiding sleighs through darkest night. Santa Froggy, I've been good, kept my promises like I should. So hop down my chimney tonight, bring some magic, pure delight. Rain or snow, he always comes, playing sweetly on his drums. Tiny hat upon his head, green suit glowing warm and red. Every year I'll wait for you, keeping dreams so bright and new. Little Froggy spreading light, guiding sleighs through darkest night.
So, Froggy Friday, what is that? It's Friday and it's the day of Froggies. Now, this is a collaboration that was started with Lisa from Girl in the Garage and Karen from the Dragon's Cave, and they very kindly let a bunch of us hop along with them on a Friday. So if you check out the description box below, you will find the collaboration list. Sometimes there's a fair few of us, sometimes there's only a couple, and that is awesome too, because you can come and go as you please. You can email Lisa or you can email Karen, and you can join along. You don't have to be fully established as a YouTuber. You could have hundreds of thousands of followers and subscribers, and you could have one and just be starting out. And honestly, you are welcome to join in. And thank you both Lisa and Karen for letting me come and play. So I'm still fiddling about with this, aren't I? I'm not sure that I said when I was starting this, and I'm not going to bother myself with going all the way back again and re-editing any voiceover. That there's two ways of doing this. I don't think I actually said what the two ways were. I just went straight into saying what I was actually doing. You can also use UV resin to seal these pieces. That would take me forever, and I really didn't want to. But I do hear that is very useful when you are using porous things like this. Obviously they're very dry. They will, you will get bubbles out of them. But I do feel that doing this, doing a good combination of isopropyl alcohol and your heat gun really does help with the bubble situation. I am not filling the Froggy mould all the way to the top today either. Today it's all I do with this all in one day. I am impatient and I do use my heat mat. But the first part is just filling it so far, and then we'll finish it off once this part is cured. I figured that if I was to fill the frog up completely, a lot of this, you lose control of these things. They're gonna float, they really are, you know it. So, you know, if you put in so much resin first, you can have more control over placement. Resin will do what resin does and things will float and things will move around. But if you do it in stages, you will get you will have better control, and you'll be a lot happier with your results. So I am happy with the placements, and I have leftover resin because, as usual, I did too much. But I know you guys love extras, because I love extras. When I watch other YouTube channels, I love the extras. So I saw Sally from All Aboard Resin doing these decorations the other day. She was using oh my goodness, I've forgotten words. She was using these that's dark indigo, by the way, alcohol inks, that's what they're called, my goodness, and that is blue. And she was using alcohol inks just like this, just dotting them in and then pouring in the resin. So I just thought I'd have a play. You know, the resin I have left over, it has the glitter in it, and that's fine, that's not going to be a problem. So it looked fun what she was doing. I was like, I want to play. So I figured I'd do these as an extra, and they're going to look really nice on my tree, because let's face it, I have cats, and if you follow me at all on my community page, you will see that said cats have been little toadstools and been climbing my tree. That is turquoise that I just put in, and this one is green. And yeah, I overshoot it a little bit there, but that's fine, it's all good. I'm avoiding using pinks today and yellows because they are terrible for staining moulds, and I've only just got this mould in and I prefer to wreck it in a year's time or something. So yeah, and I, as you know, I do not like to waste resin, so it's cool to have something on the side. And I really wanted to give this a go after I seen Sally doing hers. With this next one, I'm taking a bit longer because I'm just searching through my my metallic acrylic inks. Now, these acrylic inks, that is red gold. These are from Intoresin as well, I believe. Yes, these ones are from Intoresin. The regular type colours are from Let's Resin. I've just decanted them to the needle nose bottles, and that is gold. I have blah blah. I wanted to see what the metallics would, how the metallics would work within the molds. So I thought I'd do one or two using some of the metallics. The great thing is, obviously, the resin's gonna, you know, you can see already where we've poured in the bluish one and the greenish one. The resin's already making them move around and do little things. I kind of, part of me, I kind of wishes that I'd swirled them. But I didn't, obviously. Well, it's not obvious. You don't know if I did, because I often do, don't I? But I didn't on this occasion. I think it would have been pretty cool if I had, but I did not. That is purplish red that I've just dropped in there, and this is again blue. While I was mixing, I didn't quite have enough resin to fill this one completely, so I will add more to it with any leftover resin I have on the second pour with the Froggo. So you can see I'm like scraping, like you will come out, trying to get as much resin as absolutely possible out of that. You're teasing it down. I do love using these stirring sticks. They're very useful. They're actually like cocktail sticks. Thank you to Tracy at Mini Scenes GB. She likes to use these, and I find them very useful. But for scraping out the very remnants and the bottoms from the cups and round the sides, I can't quite manage it, so I've had to revert to a lollipop stick. And I will get more out of the little paper cup that I had as well by scraping the life out of that one too. It's amazing actually how much resin does sit around the sides of your cups and stuff, so do always give them a good old scraping. No resin wasted. So now these need to cure for the next stage. So this part of the frog is cured, so I've mixed up my resin and I've got out Forget-Me-Not. It's like a very light greyish blue, greyish blue, very light one, and it's from Create and Bloom. And I've also got my blue number 11 non-sink glitter from Intoresin. Now this is a pigment paste. I have been playing with these pigment pastes in a few other videos. You do not need a great deal of this stuff. They are pretty small jars, but this stuff is gonna last for ages because of how little you actually need. I've already pre-mixed this resin, and for the second coat, just because I wanted to, I'm using Apex resin from Just For You Online UK for this particular coat. Reason being, I do find this one debubbles, degasses, whichever you want to call it, better than all the other resins that I actually have. I do love using Teexpert and Jdiction Resin, but this particular resin from Apex, the Apex resin from Just For You Online UK is fantastic. There we go. In it goes the glitter. It's like magic. It's like, ooh, beautiful stuff. Absolutely gorgeous stuff. And there is links in my description box below. I am an affiliate for both Just For You Online UK and for Intoresin, and there are discount codes below as well, so please do use them. I use them. I use other YouTubers' discount codes for various things, but they are there, so please do use them. Right then, so I've given that a stir up, and I'm going to give this mould a spray. There we go, and pour in. Now, when I pour it in the cup, it looks blue, but when I pour it out, it looks quite white. I'm not entirely sure if I should have added a little bit more pigment. I'm not sure, but we'll see. We shall see. When it's sitting in the cup, it does look more blue. Never mind. Might be a trick of the eye. Could be anything. So I'm doing the same thing as I did in the first pour, and that is using my isopropyl alcohol and using the heat gun. And I'll also use my silicone tool as well to encourage any bubbles up by putting the silicone tool under the jaw, well, under the neck, and yeah, under the mouth, neck. Yeah. Anyway, if you're new to using resin, or if you're even new to this particular mould, that is your problem spot. It's always under that froggo's chin. And you can also get quite a few bubbles on his bottom. So it doesn't hurt to get your silicone tool or stick, whatever you use. Give it a little tap as well if you like, to encourage those bubbles up to the surface. But you're always going to get issues under the chin and around the bottom. So get your tool and encourage those bubbles up. Even, aim your heat gun to those directions. You can use a long net lighter as well, but just be wary. If you are using isopropyl alcohol, it will burn. It will take a few moments. So if you haven't got a heat gun and it is a long net lighter that you're using, spray it and give it a few moments to settle. Right then, we are cured. But we can wait for Froggo, because we've got these. Now, I did have leftover resin, only a small amount, so I added those to the tray as well. And then I just added gold alcohol ink, the metallic one. And I also topped up that one that didn't have quite enough in there with the forget-me-not colour, and that's absolutely fine. I'm just being careful when I'm taking them out that we don't break those hoops. So, it's pretty. I think it'd be cool with the backing as well. So I'm just going to get a piece of card just to show you. And I'm sorry about the reflection. It is, when I filmed the demould, it was about 9 p.m. And as it's winter, the UK, it's dark. But look at that. So for you to be able to see, I've got to have my light on, and this keeps catching, but you get the idea. And they will be having their glamour shop pictures at the end for you to check out. But they're really cool. But check that, right? See that? Where I've used the metallic alcohol inks. Ooh, hang on, just show you that one first. They're so pretty. Little bit of trimming on that one, but that's no problem. But look, where I've used the metallic alcohol inks, the dots have remained. How weird is that? I don't know why. Do you know why? If anyone knows why, do tell me. But no, I think they're really cool, and I think they look really pretty regardless. I like those. So, on to the Froggo. Now, if you are new to this Froggo mould, personally, this is how I find getting the frog out of the mould the easiest. I don't have nails, so obviously if you have nails, use your nails, but I use an dotty tool, and what I do is I basically release all his toes first. Then I get my dotting tool all around underneath his chin, round the sides, and then release from the hips, what I call the hips. Those are the hips there. Those are the frog hips. We're going to call them, or knees, maybe they're knees. But that's the quickest and best way I find to remove this mould, and then just pop it off from here. Nice and simple, and that was not sped up, by the way. Okay. Christmas Froggo! I'm really pleased, actually. Now you can see, looking down into my phone now, as I edit and do my voiceover, I can see the tint of blue. But genuinely, when I was looking at it in person, I couldn't properly say it looked more white to me, but isn't it pretty? Isn't it pretty? I wanted the contrast of like the forget-me-not against the like the greens and the reds and the browns inside the actual Froggo. He's gotta have a Christmas hat. But the Christmas hat is way too big. Oh, I don't want it being all big and spoiling the Froggo, because they're so pretty. There's too much interest going on in there to be completely covered by a big old hat. But he still needs a hat. So I'll tuck it over. So what I'm going to do, and I apologise that it's not on screen. I thought I was. I've cut off the bottom, making the hat smaller. Now, do what you will, but what you're happier with. If you happen to be inspired or got these cool little Christmas hats, mini hats that you can get from Temu or Amazon, I'm happy using UV resin. The UV torch, because of the it's more of a clear resin on the top of the frog, angling it, you can penetrate through the material, but you know, underneath the material, and it can be kept in place. You can use a glue gun if you want, or other types of glue, but I prefer using the UV resin. I find glue guns cumbersome. I'm not lucky enough to have one that is wireless, and I get really annoyed by all the stringy bits. And I'm too impatient for regular glue. So what I'm doing here is I wanted the ball. Is it a ball? Oh, I can't think of the end bit. Words. Anyway, I wanted it to be like folded over. I didn't want it sticking up like a sore thumb. So there we go, and I'm happy with that. That is cured nicely, but I want the hat to be broken up because of the colours in his head. There's a lot of red in his head from those little berry type things. So I am just snipping. Again, I'm sorry, I am not on screen. What I'm doing is I'm cutting the white off from the other part of the hat. And again, I'm going to UV resin this piece of material down. So on the front and then the two sides. That's nice, isn't it? I suppose you could even, if you're so inclined to do, you could always snip it and attack in, you know, a little bit of cotton and thread and tack it in like that. But once again, time consuming, impatient Lou. So this works, so I'm sticking to it. Yes, and I'm also the sort of person that uses Wonder Web when, you know, fixing things. If it is on material, if I could get away with it, I'd probably use UV resin for that as well. I'm a liability. So, Froggy has a hat. I love him. I'm really pleased. When I was making it at the beginning, I didn't think it was going to work. I thought there was way too much glitter in there. Froggy is awesome. I really love those bits inside as well. It's really Christmassy without being all like tinsel and stuff. So, I hope you enjoyed watching. Love you. Stay
full
weird.
Of colors and swirls. Nerd Goblin art draws magic worlds, with foxes that prance and badgers that dance. A whirlwind of dreams with a single glance. Gerald the alligator grins so wide. In enchanted waters he loves to hide. Dragons breathe wonder with flames so bright, each creature born from a magic night. Nerd Goblin paints life in every brush, animals frolic in a vibrant rush. From canvases to tales they leap, in a realm where fantasy meets deep. The studio's alive with swirling paint, creatures so pure they need no saint. Sketches of foxes with tails of light, badges